It's time for the Sports Blitz, the only live-streamed local sports show in Arkansas, with all the latest on the sports stories that matter to you.
Love how Ken enunciated so well. The sports stories that matter to you. Welcome into the Sports Blitz on a Wednesday. Mark Freeman, Maddie Lassiter, inside the Cogswell Motors Studios here at the home of RiverValleyLeader.com. We appreciate you taking time to join us today. Got a lot of sports to talk. Hoping that, I gave him short notice, but I'm hoping that Coach Carlskent from Tech can call in. They got a win on Monday night in their home exhibition opener. Hoping he can call in about 11:05. If he can't, then we'll get a time that is good for him, and we'll have him in to talk Arkansas Tech basketball. Jason Kilburn's going to call in 11:30. I'm sure he'll have a little bit to say about this Richie Incognito story. For those not familiar, it's our Cogswell Motors, not Cogswell Motors, it's our CrossFit Russellville poll question. Cogswell Motors can have it too. They can split it today. Our poll question deals with Richie Incognito and the whole situation around Jonathan Martin, Miami Dolphins offensive lineman who missed last Thursday night their football game because he just left the team, and there was no real reason given. He said he was being bullied. No, we'll get to it here in a little bit. And just long story short, Richie Incognito comes out, and basically the information has surfaced that he was bullying Jonathan Martin. Whether or not it was something that the team asked him to do or not is that's what's being alleged right now. It has yet to be determined, but either way, we wanted to know your thoughts on the situation. If you were the Miami Dolphins, how do you handle this? If you're, if it's you, how do you handle it if you're Jonathan Martin? It's kind of a tough situation. But we'll get to that here in just a little bit. We've also got local sports that we want to hit. Is Coach Carlskent on the line? Awesome. But we are glad to be joined right now by Arkansas Tech head men's basketball coach, Doug Carlskent. Coach Carlskent, how you doing today, man?
Good, Mark. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you for calling in on short notice. We appreciate it.
No problem. Love to be on, man.
Well, we were looking at the stats from your game Monday night. I wasn't able to make it. I wanted to so bad. But you guys got a big win, 82-69 over the University of the Ozarks. And as I'm looking here at the story on the Athletics website, something strikes me, Coach, and it's something that I'm going to enjoy for the next couple of years. It's another Friedel hitting threes for Arkansas Tech.
Yeah, he came out and first half wasn't hitting some shots, and I think he was 0-3 at halftime. And he just did what good shooters do, and that's just keep on shooting, and didn't let that bother his mentality. He's a guy that we look for, especially with Ozark playing some zone, and we need him to step up and hit some shots. And he's always going to be kind of in that shadow of his older brother and what he did here, but it was good to see, and he really saved, hitting some big shots. He's hit 6 threes in the second half, and really propelled us to victory.
Well, this is a new squad, lots of new faces, and pardon me, and I'm sure most of the listening audience right now doesn't know a whole lot about your team. I know you're picked to win the Great American Conference, but what do you see from your team so far out of the two exhibitions that you guys have played so far?
Well, it's first of all just being picked in the conference race. It's nothing about what we have now. We do have some good players. I think we recruited some good players with some guys that are coming back that have been on winning teams, and so it's just more of what we've done in the past. But from what I've seen so far is, and just like in previous years, where there's going to be a lot of growing pains. We aren't going to be in mid-season form for a while, and we just got to get the guys to understand that because we're mixing in a lot of talented new guys with the returners, and it just takes a while for things to mesh, to figure out what we're best at offensively, and it's going to take time, and just get the guys to realize that. And a lot of the returners have been frustrated because they feel like we need to be clicking on all cylinders, and we aren't right now. And if you ask every coach in America, they probably would say the same thing. And if you are clicking on all cylinders, I'd be a little bit concerned.
Oh, yeah.
because I don't think that you need to be peaking here in November. Rather, get it done in February and March when it really matters.
Oh yeah, especially getting so many guys worked in and then playing the new newcomers that haven't necessarily played together. That peaking right now would be a rough deal. So we talked about this last year, I guess, coming into the season. You were playing. Was it last year or the year before that you guys played Texas A&M?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So you guys have not been no stranger to playing really, really tough exhibition games. Is it something that you tend to do just to see what you have and to see who you can count on, or is it something just a challenge? What are you doing with playing Texas A&M and playing Stephen F. Austin last Friday?
Well, it's whenever you play a Division I opponent, it's always good in recruiting. When you recruit young men here, you tell them that they're going to face the best competition, playing in a good conference, and it's always good when you can point out that they'll be possibly playing some TV games against some Division I opponents, and just the exposure, especially 2 years ago when Arkansas Tech's on the bottom line against Texas A&M. Scrolling through the ESPN every 15 minutes, and that was just a great experience playing in front of 10,000 fans at Reed Arena, and same thing with Stephen F. Austin on Friday night. And, we know going in that the odds are stacked against us, but at the same time, that you always hear those stories, with Syracuse getting knocked off by the D2 and just how much exposure those teams do get by knocking off those teams. And, you find out a lot about your team, because there's a lot of adversity with the officials and just being in road environments. And so you do find out a lot early on where you're at.
Well, like you were just talking about, finding out a lot about your team. Looking at the stats here, it looked like you guys had a good night. Obviously, Friedel hit 6-3, so that was a big deal. But you led them in points in the paint, and then second chance points. And the big one that I see here is points off the bench, 47-4. You outscored the U of O. That I'm sure that has something to do with your depth that they don't quite have. But that means that you've got several guys you can count on.
Yeah, we were talking the other day just how I think that we are extremely deep this year. 1 through 14 on our roster, we feel comfortable with any one of those guys playing. Putting them in a game and executing our stuff how we want to execute. And the thing about it is on Monday night we had 3 guys sitting out that we're counting on quite a bit, and they were in street clothes, didn't even play. So, and that's another thing, just trying to figure out lineup-wise and putting the best team out there that will help Arkansas Tech win, not necessarily the best players, but the best team out there. And that's part of the growing pains. But as far as depth-wise, I'm extremely pleased with the caliber of players that we have just throughout the program.
And it seems like you've got a nice squad. There's 10, 12 guys that can contribute, especially with the style of play that you guys will run up and down the floor and get after folks. I really enjoy watching you guys play. So you guys tip off the regular season Friday at the Southwest Basketball or Baptist Tournament in Bolivar, Missouri, taking on Lincoln University. This tournament is, well, I guess it is a tournament. What are you looking to get out of this road trip?
We'll play 2 very good opponents. Lincoln struggled last year, but they recruited some good, talented athletes. They're very athletic. Matchup-wise, they could cause us some problems with their athleticism from top to bottom. And that's always a scary thing going in night one, and you don't have very much film on them this early in the season. You don't know a whole lot about their income, their newcomers. So you're basically going into both these games blind, and what we pride ourselves on is preparation for our opponents, and that won't happen for another couple of weeks just because we don't have game tape on them, and so it's always tricky, and that's why you see a lot of upsets here early season, just because there's teams that prepare a lot, spend a lot of time watching film like we do. You see a lot of upsets because we just are limited on the resource that we do have scouting-wise. So, but 2 very good teams. Southwest Baptist will put it up from 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw up 35 threes against us. just attempted-wise. And they get up and down the floor pretty quick. And it's always tough playing on their home floor, and Bolivar will be pumped up. They're struggling football-wise, so they're ready for basketball. It's a basketball community. I've played regional tournaments in there in a packed house and there's a loud gym. So it'll be a tough test for our guys on Saturday night for sure.
Well, before I get you out of here, I've got a general basketball question I want to ask you, but I remembered talking to you off the air about Jimmy Dykes coming into town and talking to your team. To me, it seems like every time I hear him talk, I learned something. He's a really knowledgeable guy. Obviously, Jimmy Dykes, ESPN basketball analyst. What did it mean to you and your program to have a guy like that come in and talk to your team, and what did you guys glean from him?
Oh, it was great. And just like I told Jimmy and in front of the team, I always seem to tune into basketball games to listen to him, because as a coach, you learn so much from him analyzing the game, because he's a great basketball mind, and you see it play on TV and he dissects it for the general fan to understand, and also helps us. And I told him that we learn so much from him, and we really appreciate what he does for the game. But just the message that he delivered to our team was incredible, and just about what it takes to be a championship team, and coming together as a team, and just how tough it is to be engaged every day in practice. It's just such a long season, and he travels all across the country and seeing practice after practice, and just told the guys what it takes and what he sees from the successful teams, and just kind of bottled it up and told what every successful team has, and after the meeting, several of our guys came up and just told me how much it affected them and how it really hit home with them, and they texted me all night long just about how much it really touched them. And so when that happened, it's really special. And so we were very grateful that Jimmy Dykes came by and took time to spend with our guys.
That's awesome news. We're talking with Coach Doug Carlskent, Arkansas Tech head men's basketball coach. We'll get you out of here on this one, Coach. NBA season has begun just a couple days ago, I guess a week or so ago now. I don't know who your team is, if you have one, but before, we like to get our predictions out there early in the season. Who you got winning the NBA Finals this year?
Well, it's always tough to go against LeBron and the boys from Miami, just because he's such a special physical specimen. Even though Brad Stevens has gotten off to a rough start, I don't see the Celtics. It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. But I'm a Brad Stevens fan from what he did at Butler, and so hopefully the Celtics will get it together here. But it's so tough to go against LeBron. Just from what he's done. But Brooklyn's done some good things accusation-wise with Pierce and Garnett. They're going to be tough in the East, and the Bulls with D. Rose coming back. So I will say this. I do think that the world champion will come out of the Eastern Conference.
That's saying something, because it seems the West is deeper year in and year out, but the East has started to get tougher. You got the Bulls, you got the Heat, you got the Pacers. I worry about the Pacers because they can physically muck it up, and it looks like tall guy Roy Hibbert has finally come into his own a little bit. I worry about him.
No doubt. I think Paul George is fastly becoming one of the top 5 players in the league.
Yep. He's very good. He's getting very, very good, especially with the fact that he likes to play defense, and then he can hit, and then he can he's a good player altogether. Coach, we appreciate your time. We'll talk to you again very soon. Hopefully, coming into the GAC schedule, we can sort of once we get through the exhibitions and non-conference, we can talk to you a little bit about the Great American Conference slate. We appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. That's head men's basketball coach at Arkansas Tech University, Doug Carlskent. Always enjoy him coming on and sharing with us. He's got a good team, another good team, picked to win the Great American Conference this year, and they're just, they're almost a dynasty, I would say, at Arkansas Tech with basketball, with the conference championships they've won over the past several years. Really appreciate his time. We'll look at some high school football here in just a minute. We'll run through the teams and who they're playing this week as we get back from this break. I want to know what you think about the Richie Incognito Miami Dolphins situation there with Jonathan Martin. We've got a transcript of his voicemail that he sent. If you haven't seen this, you'll want to hear it when you get back.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Hi folks, Richard Roberts with Cogswell Motors in Russellville. You know, we've been in business since 1949. A dealership doesn't stay in business that long under the same ownership unless you're doing something right, and that's taking care of customers. We have the largest selection of new Ford, Lincoln, Mazda, and pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. So if you want the most for your trade, the best interest rate on financing, and the best price on a new or pre-owned automobile, come to Russellville and see us. We're at 1900 East Main, or visit us on the web at cogswellmotors.com.
If you didn't count on KARK4 today this morning,
here's what you missed.
Updated news.
Police continue searching for suspects after a home intrusion overnight.
Developing stories.
There's another piece of presidential history turning up here in Arkansas.
And weather and traffic on the force.
Friday night, Saturday morning will bring us our next chance of rain.
Every 10 minutes.
Around the clock.
Making your day easier.
So rise and shine and count on.
Count on.
Count on. KARK4 today.
Over 69 years of treating you like family, Peters Family Living's main goal is customer service. That is their promise to their customers. They offer in-house financing on furniture and appliances and a 30-day money-back guarantee. For a friendly, no-pressure atmosphere, visit Peters Family Living today at 201 North Arkansas Avenue, Russellville, online at petersfamilyliving.com, or call 479-968-2929.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Jeff Long got himself a raise. Richie Incognito got himself booted. Those are our questions of the day. We want to know what you think about those two subjects. Jeff Long was mentioned in the Texas athletic director's athletic director search, and he was apparently one of the top 3 targets. He said he was very careful. If you read the transcript or the press release that he sent out, he was very careful not to say that he hadn't been contacted, he didn't interview, anything like that. He said, I am not pursuing. So in other words, they pursued me, if anything, and I'm not interested in Texas. I'm staying here. This is my job. Got him a nice little raise. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Your thoughts on that? I saw one already that was an answer to our CrossFit Russellville poll question. It said, I wish he'd been fired 2 years ago. Oh, we love it. And we want to hear from you. You've got 10 minutes if you want to call in, make your voice heard. Jason Kilburn's going to be on the line at 11:30, so 11:20 right now. You got 10 minutes to call 968 News. That's 968. Have your voice heard on the Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin, and Jeff Long situations. Texas has hired another athletic director. It was Patterson from Arizona State, Steve Patterson. He a Texas guy. We'll talk a little bit about that hire and the fact that Jeff Long is still here. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sort of relieved because I like what Jeff Long's done, and I'll tell you why here in just a little bit. But let's real quickly look at our Peters Family Living local sports look. Peters Family Living does a good job of keeping it local, and we appreciate them helping to sponsor this segment, make it possible. The Russellville High School Cyclones traveling to Greenwood, trying to knock off the Bulldogs in that long winning streak. It's a tall test, a tall task, however you want to say it, for the Cyclones this week at Greenwood. But we believe going into the 6A state playoffs that they're gonna be firing on all cylinders. They're going to have to fire a lot. They're going to have to throw that thing all over the place against Greenwood, score some points to win that game. Pottsville at Waldron should be a big win for the Apaches. No offense, but Waldron did just get stomped by Dover 49-21 on Friday night, so they're not very good. Pottsville should win that game. Dardanelle hosts Mena. That's going to be our River Valley Leader featured game of the week. I went back and forth on who we would feature this week because you got Atkins and Danville. Both of those teams have been featured so far this year. Dardanelle, I don't believe, has been featured in a game of the week so far this year. So Sand Lizards hosting the Mena Bearcats. That will be the game of the week. Clarksville is at Morrilton. Lamar is at Paris, trying to lock up the 2 seed in the 4-3A. And Atkins is hosting Danville. Paris, that's who Danville's playing. No, that's who Danville lost to. And they're not even in our coverage area. Why do I care about them? Dover got that 49-21 win over Waldron, trying to start a winning streak this week at Subiaco Academy. Hector had 2 weeks to prepare for Johnson County Westside. I don't think they needed both of those weeks to prepare for Johnson County Westside, but they're going to travel to the Rebels' home field there in Hartman, Arkansas, Coal Hill, Arkansas, my neck of the woods. And they're going to get a win probably on Friday night against Johnson County Westside. Hector looking to win the conference and roll into that 2A state playoffs on a good note. So we'll see how that goes this Friday night with Hector against Johnson County Westside. So we've got a lot of good football coming up this Friday night. Man, we got basketball in 13 days. The Clarksville Panthers will open their exhibition non-conference schedule. They play Northside on the 19th there in Clarksville, a return trip from last year where Clarksville played at Northside. I know Pottsville plays, I think, next Tuesday against Clinton on the 12th. That's right. And then we'll give away 2 Russellville tickets. These are not just any tickets. These are cards to get you in, 2 people, into every Russellville Cyclone home game for the entire basketball season. That's a big deal. We appreciate Coach Johnny Johnson and the Russellville Athletic Department for hooking us up with these. We're going to try to get some from the other schools as well, but we appreciate those giving us those to give away. We're going to find a contest that is worthy of getting into every Russellville basketball game for free, and we'll be giving those away coming up in the next few weeks. I'm going to get a schedule from Coach Mann and find out when the games actually start. So looking forward to that. Let's move on real quickly. I want to save the Jeff Long and Richie Incognito stuff for when Jason comes on here in just a minute. So let's run through the other subjects that are happening. Also, we'll give you our power rankings, NFL power rankings, here in a little bit. They're shifting every week. They're changing up a little bit. I've got 2 teams in this week. I guess I've just got 1 team that moved up and 1 team that moved back into the rankings. But they're changing around, and with the injuries and things that are going on in the NFL right now, these power rankings are going to be shifting all year long. And I don't see – try to be nice here. I don't see Kansas City being in the top 3 for much longer. I think they're going to lose 3 games in a row, or at least 2 out of 3 here in the next couple weeks when they play Denver, San Diego, Denver. They're going to lose both of those games to Denver, in my opinion. So I think they'll be coming off the top spot, but it's no surprise. I've got them number 1. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Did you see, talking about the NBA, we just talked to Coach Carlskin, and he agreed that, the Miami Heat have got to be the odds-on favorite to win the NBA Finals, that Oklahoma City got back Russell Westbrook about 3 weeks ahead of schedule. I'm playing a little fantasy basketball this season, so I saw that he was coming back, and I thought, wow, he's not on my team, but I thought, wow, 3 or 4 weeks ahead of schedule. He went way lower in the draft than he probably should have. When in fantasy basketball, it goes by the week. You can change your lineups daily. He only missed a week of fantasy basketball, and he should have been a first-round pick. So it was a big deal for whoever got him. And Oklahoma City, obviously, in real life, enjoys having him back on the team and in the fold there. I don't think he had any minutes restrictions coming back from that. I think it was a lateral MCL tear that kept him out. But big thing for Oklahoma City. LeBron James, you see last night, he hit double-digit points for the 500th game in a row. And now he's only about halfway to Michael Jordan. No, he's a little more than halfway. Let me see where the number is. LeBron James, 500 straight games. Michael Jordan has 866 straight games in double figures scoring. LeBron jumps into the top 5, though. His streak started in 2007. So he played 4 years in the league, and then somehow in 2007, I don't know what the game was, he was under 10 points in a game, and now he's back to 500 games in a row scoring in double figures. I don't see that ending anytime soon. I guess the only way that he would, it was Milwaukee Bucks in January of 2007, he scored 8 points, and he was just a bucket short of the double-digit. I don't see that ending anytime soon unless he starts a game, gets injured, and isn't able to come back. That's about the only way that he's not going to score in double figures. But congratulations to my boy LeBron James. They got a win last night over Toronto. They're in Canada. Poor guy Chris Bosh can't catch a break. And I say that tongue-in-cheek because he missed last night's game against his old team when he could have, come in and scored 20 and got 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and said, look what you guys are missing. But he was out for the birth of his daughter. Congratulations to Chris Bosh and his wife on the birth of their daughter. A couple things across the wire right now, though. Lots of injuries in every sport, but particularly in football. Aaron Rodgers, broken collarbone, out 3 or 4 weeks. It's a bad deal. As they're in the middle of a playoff race for the Green Bay Packers to be without Aaron Rodgers, they're going to have to start Seneca Wallace or Brett Favre or Flynn. They're going to have to do something. I don't think Seneca Wallace is the answer. And if they're hoping to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win a couple of these next games without Aaron Rodgers. That's a tough situation that the Packers have put themselves in now that Aaron Rodgers is out. Another injury, I'm skipping back and forth here because I was just talking the NBA just a minute ago. Tyson Chandler out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken leg. So, you see the injuries starting to pile up early in the NBA season, and here in the middle of the NFL and college football season, you see the injuries really starting to pile up. So it's kind of I don't know. It's attrition. It's sad. It stinks for some of these teams that are missing some of their better players. You saw the Houston Texans, man, their whole team, even their coach, going out with injuries. So we did wish the best to Gary Kubiak on Monday. He appears to have had, this is not confirmed by anybody, but I saw that he might have had a mini stroke on the sideline, and it may have been sort of they originally wanted to attribute it to dehydration possibility. So we'll see exactly what comes of that. But that's 2 coaches in a couple of weeks. Well, really, if you go into college football, Jerry Kill at Minnesota having, of course, I think he's got epilepsy, but he was having seizures on the sideline, and that's the stress of the job, man. It's seeming to affect some of these coaches. And you had John Fox from Denver on the golf course, comes up short of breath, and he's going to have surgery on his heart. And Gary Kubiak having these health issues as well makes me wonder. And it leads perfectly into a topic I want to hit real quickly, and I'm sure we'll ask Jason as soon as we go to this next break here in just a minute. But did you see that Nick Saban's agent has come out and said basically, he has expressed interest to Texas and told them that he would consider coming to coach the University of Texas. He feels the pressure at Alabama. I'm sure there is some pressure at Alabama, but you're Nick freaking Saban. You can just turn to whoever and say, 3. That's 3. That's how many national championships that I've won you. And that's probably going to change this year as Nick Saban and Alabama continue number 1 in the country. I've picked them to win the national championship. I don't know why he would ever leave. But I guess with every championship comes a little more pressure, a little more expectation to just go ahead and win it again. Well, you've got the players. You won it last year. Win it again. I wonder if Nick Saban will go to the University of Texas. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to see Nick Saban with that type of that depth of resources, what Maddie was saying, and I totally agree. But I'd really like to have him out of the SEC. So just Go ahead. If you're going to win a national championship and it's in the SEC, congratulations. But if you're going to go play it or coach at Texas, it would be, he would. I'm sure he would do very, very well there.
He'll win a couple or 3 over there in Texas, and then he'll retire.
He's like 62, so I don't know why he would start over. I mean, Texas is a rebuilding project.
Go win them over there so that we have a chance.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be tough enough.
It would take 3 years. I think it would take 3 years of a Mike Shula coaching job to knock Alabama out of where they are right now into a place to where Arkansas could beat them.
You're probably right. I think you're probably right
about
Arkansas beating them. What I'm saying, though, is that if you take Nick Saban off of that staff, and even if you put another good coach, it's just not going to be the same. They're not going to have that same, they're not going to lose mentality that you get, or maybe not mentality is the right word, but you get that feeling when you see them play somebody, and people are saying, this team might have a chance. No. Ole Miss? No.
No.
It's no.
I said
there is no chance.
Not happening.
It's people have a lot of talk, and it's 25-0. I don't think it would be that same way. They'd have the players. They'd get the players. Even if they had a good coach, but it wouldn't be that same we're going to shut you down and out type thing, I don't think, without Saban. So that'd be good, and you're right about Arkansas not being able to beat them for probably 3 years, but I think that would change.
It'd have to.
Well, I don't mean just for us. I think it would change for a lot of other teams in the league. It would definitely change.
I'd really like for Alabama to have a crappy coach again. Let's hit a break. Read here. When I mentioned Nick Saban's agent, his agent is Jimmy Sexton, and that is noteworthy because Jimmy Sexton was Houston Nutt's agent, still is, and he's the guy who got Houston Nutt all those raises because the plane's on the tarmac, right? He's going to Nebraska, he's going to LSU, he's going to Auburn, he's going to all these different places from Arkansas and from Ole Miss, and he's getting his name out there and getting him a raise. Maybe Nick Saban. Now, I'm not saying Nick Saban wants a raise because I don't think he cares at all. If you give him a couple oatmeal cookies, he's good to go. Or oatmeal cream pie is what it is. You give him a couple of those, he's good to go. But Jimmy Sexton, he likes some money, and he wants to go get a raise. Can't really blame him. He met with former Texas Regent Tom Hicks and current Regent Wallace Hall, and in quote here on the ESPN story, it says, Sexton confirmed UT is the only job Nick would possibly consider leaving Alabama for, and that his success there created special pressure for him. Poor guy. We'll look at the incognito situation. We may even ask Jason what he thinks about Nick Saban. Jason Kilburn on the line right after the break.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Hi folks, Richard Roberts with Cogswell Motors in Russellville. We've been in business since 1949. A dealership doesn't stay in business that long under the same ownership unless you're doing something right, and that's taking care of customers. We have the largest selection of new Ford, Lincoln, Mazda, and pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. So if you want the most for your trade, the best interest rate on financing, and the best price on a new or pre-owned automobile, come to Russellville and see us. We're at 1900 East Main, or visit us on the web at cogswellmotors.com.
If you didn't count on KARK4 today this morning,
here's what you missed.
Updated news.
Police continue searching for suspects after a home intrusion overnight.
Developing stories.
There's another piece of presidential history turning up here in Arkansas.
And weather and traffic on the force.
Friday night, Saturday morning will bring us our next chance rain.
Every 10 minutes.
Around the clock.
Making your day easier.
So rise and shine and count on.
Count on.
Count on. KARK4 today.
Over 69 years of treating you like family, Peter's Family Living's main goal is customer service. That is their promise to their customers. They offer in-house financing on furniture and appliances and a 30-day money-back guarantee. For a friendly, no-pressure atmosphere, visit Peter's Family Living today at 201 North Arkansas Avenue, Russellville, online at petersfamilyliving.com or call 479-968-2929.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
Got a lot to cover and a little time to do it. Jason Kilburn on the line, and we're going to talk some Hogs here in just a minute. I wondered about your thoughts, Jason, on this Saban to Texas stuff. Are you with us where you just say, good riddance, go ahead?
Oh, for sure, man. Anywhere to get out of the SEC is fine with me. If that's going back to the NFL or it's switching conferences or, going out west to the Pac-12, it doesn't matter to me. Just as long as he's not in the SEC, get out of here. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, he's already said he was too old to go there. I don't think it'd be about money, although they could just put a dump truck in his front yard.
He's also a liar.
That's true. I am not going to be the coach at the University of Alabama. I am the Miami Dolphins head coach, and I've got this shirt on underneath my Miami Dolphins shirt. It's an Alabama shirt I'll be using here in just a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that, Jason. Looking at the athletic director search, though, as we talk about the University of Texas, they have filled that role, and the collective breath of Arkansas fans, we can breathe a sigh of relief as Steve Patterson, Arizona State athletic director, big businessman, law degree from the University of Texas, has been hired. Jeff Long was reportedly in the top 3. I don't know why they wouldn't have put him in the top 3. They wanted a Texas guy. They got a Texas guy. It's kind of like being a Michigan man, right? You have to be the coach there, you have to have Michigan ties. And Jeff Long, Oliver Luck, Steve Patterson reported to be the final 3. Jeff Long, though, gets into the conversation, and he gets himself a $200,000 raise and then a $100,000 one-time bonus that basically the university just gave him because he took his name out of the running here. I'm going to find it real quickly because I read it just a second ago. The agreement said that his new compensation was, quote, in exchange for your agreement to remove yourself from consideration for another position and to retain you at the University of Arkansas. Jason, it appears as though Jeff Long won big in this situation because he wasn't going to get the job. He got a raise at his new job, and he got all these accolades that come along with the fact that he's now the college football playoff committee chair. He's making more money at the University of Arkansas. He got the name Arkansas and Jeff Long out there. It's just a win all around for Jeff Long, even though he didn't get the job.
Oh, I think so too, and what he's doing now, not just for the University of Arkansas, but, like you were saying, he's on the committee there to, for the bowl selection that's starting next year. I think it's phenomenal of what all he's done here in the short period of time. And, for the Arkansas fans, some of them don't seem to like him very well just because of the change that the big difference there was between, Frank Broyles and him. But if the University of Texas is coming to try to get you your athletic director, I think that's pretty big because Texas, of course they got a Texas guy, but man, they could probably went out and got whoever they wanted just because it's Texas. And that's the same thing, maybe with a Florida or a USC or something. They can go out and get pretty much whoever they want. And for them to come on Jeff Long, I think that just speaks volumes of what he's done, at the short time that he's been in Arkansas.
I think Jeff Bayless maybe skips younger brother. He says when we asked him about Jeff Long what he thought, he said he should have been fired a few years ago. I do like what Jeff Long has done with the answer the call and the things that he's done to get Arkansas on good footing facilities-wise and things like that. I want a basketball practice facility, but nevertheless, I think that's in the future. But just reading a couple things here about Jeff Long's deal. He made $900,000 coming up before last year, and now he's going to be making and $1.1 million. He's got $300,000 in possible incentives. His contract ran through June 30th of 2017, and he had his buyout is like $1.3 million right now, but his buyout goes down to $100,000 in 2017, 2018. The long and short of that is that if Arkansas wants to keep him before that time, they're going to have to extend him and raise that buyout so that he can't just leave and it costs nothing. But if Texas really wanted him, $1.3 million is a nice handshake for somebody at Texas to go ahead and give. So, like we said, it's a good deal for Arkansas to keep him. And, the fact that he gets the money, he deserves to make better money. I mean, and I'm not saying that he's making chump change, but he deserves to make some good money and be compensated as far as the good stuff that he's done for the University of Arkansas. Jason, let's look real quickly as we switch gears completely. I'm sorry, the segues are off because we've got plenty of stuff to cover today and don't have a whole lot of time to do it. Jason, let's look real quickly at our NFL power rankings because it's our Wednesday tradition. We didn't talk on Monday, but 7 touchdowns from Nick Foles. Dallas Cowboys getting the win. The coaches falling out all over the place. The Miami Dolphins debacle. Lots of stuff going on in the NFL. I'm sure your power rankings are a little different. I know mine are.
Yeah, I changed mine up a little bit this week. I actually had somebody that moved up pretty high, and but for the most part, there's about 5 or 6, 7 teams that are still right in the top 5 that you kind of we're just going to keep moving them around probably till the playoffs get here. But do you want me to start with mine, or do you want to go first, or?
Go for it. I know last week I had Kansas City, Denver, New Orleans, Seattle, San Francisco. Those have changed a little bit, so go ahead.
Okay, number 1, I've still got Kansas City. I mean, as long as they stay undefeated, which the next they got a bye this week, and then they play Denver and Philadelphia, Denver, San Diego, and then Denver again. So we'll see what they're really made of. And I was looking at their schedule and who all they've played, and I could be wrong on this, but I think that Dallas is the only team above 500 that they've played all year.
That sounds about right. But let me look real quick.
They've played a weak schedule, man, but they keep winning, so that's why I still have them at number 1. Number 2. I've got Denver. I think they're probably the best team in the NFL, but as long as Kansas City's still undefeated, I can't put Denver above that, even though, Denver's next 6 straight games are against teams that are above 500. So we'll see what Denver's really made of in these next couple games. At number 3, here's where I had somebody not even ranked, which now I've got them ranked pretty high. I've got San Francisco at number 3. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I think Manningham and Crabtree is going to be coming back pretty soon. So I had to elevate him because I think with those 2 additions, I think Kaepernick is really going to excel there, and I think that's going to put San Francisco back up to the top. And of course, their defense has been pretty steady all year, not where it usually is, but I like them a lot. And the team I've got right below them is Seattle, which I had Seattle at number 3 last week. I moved them down this week, and the only reason I did that is because they were down 21 points to my Bucks. Yep. If you get down 21 points to my Bucks, that's not very good. But they did come back and win in overtime. And then number 5, there was 2 teams that I was going to put in here, and the team that I did not put is New England. I think New England's really going to start clicking now since they got Gronk back, and of course Dobson, the rookie receiver out of Marshall, has been playing phenomenal. But at number 5, I have the Colts. Andrew Luck, man, he's just a game-winning. I mean, every time it seems like there's a chance for him to make a comeback, and he always does it. And they've had a tough schedule this year, but I have the Colts at number 5, and that's my top 5. So I've got Kansas City, Denver, San Francisco, Seattle, and Indianapolis.
You know what? We've got the same top 4. I've got New England in over Indianapolis at number 5. Reason being, like you said, Gronk back, and they're not going to get completely healthy. It's impossible on the defensive side of the ball for New England. They've got guys out for the year. But having Gronk back and seeing Tom Brady put up 600 total yards last Sunday against Pittsburgh, I think that the New England Patriots are the real deal. Reggie Wayne being out, I love T.Y. Hilton and what he's doing, but the other receiver that they have to count on is a guy named Darius Hayward No Hands Bay, and the guy can't catch. He's awful. He can fly, but he cannot catch the football. I don't have a clue how he's still on an NFL roster, except for the fact that he can just absolutely fly. But, I mean, you'd have to give it to him on a handoff because he can't catch. But anyway, I've got Seattle at number 4, like you said. Obviously, Kansas City, Denver, 1 and 2. San Francisco, 5 wins in a row for the 49ers. They're getting Aldon Smith back. They're about to get Michael Crabtree back. Like you mentioned, Mario Manningham coming back. They're going to be closer to full strength. And like we mentioned to start the season, they're one of those teams that they've just got an embarrassment of riches. Offensively, defensively, they've got a lot of talent. And when they can put it all together, and if they don't have to play at Seattle in the playoffs, they'll be all right. Seattle has been sort of thorn in everyone's side at home. So the Seahawks, as much like you said, they got down 21-0 to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did come back and win the game, but they look like a completely different team if they're not at home. So I've got them at number 4 because when they are at home, wow, they're pretty tough to beat with the I almost said hurricanes, with the earthquakes and stuff that they can cause. So I've got Seattle there at number 4. Cincinnati, New Orleans, Indianapolis. I think all 3 of those teams deserve mention within the top 5. New Orleans lost on Sunday. Who'd they lose to? Cleveland or somebody not very good? Who was it that beat New Orleans? I'm going blank here. I know New Orleans lost.
It was the Jets.
Yeah. It was the Jets. Yeah, they lost, and it was not even a great game as far as, they just didn't play very well. But that's perfectly fine because it sets them up to beat my Cowboys this week in the Superdome because they're going to be all hot and bothered, and the Cowboys are going to come in off a win. And we know what 500 franchises do. When they win a game, they come back and lose the next one. So I'm just a little bitter at the Cowboys. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Let's hit a break real quickly. Jason, we've got plenty of stuff left to hit. We want to look at Ole Miss football this week. Arkansas traveling to the Grove. And also Arkansas basketball exhibitions. They had one the other night and got another win against Northeastern State. But I wonder how the basketball team is going to look when Kai Madden gets back. Who's going to be counted on? It's still guys getting lots and lots of minutes in the preseason, but like we talked to Coach Carlson a minute ago, he's finding out who he can play at Arkansas Tech. Mike Anderson's sort of finding out the same thing with his guys.
RiverValleyLeader.com is the #1 local source for instant news in the River Valley, offering HD video and live streaming along with top-notch coverage of all the news and events around the area. The River Valley Leader is the only place to go for all the information you need. Check out the newest local business featured on the site, as well as police news and coverage from important meetings, along with the personal stories, all at one convenient click. Check out RiverValleyLeader.com.
Hi folks, Richard Roberts with Cogswell Motors in Russellville. You know, we've been in business since 1949. A dealership doesn't stay in business that long under the same ownership unless you're doing something right, and that's taking care of customers. We have the largest selection of new Ford, Lincoln, Mazda, and pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. So if you want the most for your trade, the best interest rate on financing, and the best price on a new or pre-owned automobile, come to Russellville and see us. We're at 1900 East Main, or visit us on the web at cogswellmotors.com.
If you didn't count on KARK4 today this morning,
here's what you missed.
Updated news.
Police continue searching for suspects after a home intrusion overnight.
Developing stories.
There's another piece of presidential history turning up here in Arkansas.
And weather and traffic on the force.
Friday night, Saturday morning will bring us our next chance rain.
Every 10 minutes.
Around the clock.
Making your day easier.
So rise and shine and count on.
Count on.
Count on. KARK4 today.
Over 69 years of treating you like family, Peters Family Living's main goal is customer service. That is their promise to their customers. They offer in-house financing on furniture and appliances and a 30-day money-back guarantee. For a friendly, no-pressure atmosphere, visit Peters Family Living today at 201 North Arkansas Avenue, Russellville. Online at petersfamilyliving.com or call 479-968-2929.
Today, there are more than 20 brands of cars being sold in America. So to be noticed, Ford and Cogswell Motors have to go further than anyone thought we could. How does Ford stand out above the crowd? Not just with plug-in vehicles like the new 2013 Ford Fusion Energy that gets a projected 100 miles per gallon equivalent, but also with a line of gas vehicles equipped with the innovative EcoBoost engines combining power and efficiency, plus a full measure of technologically advanced features. We invite you to stop into Cogswell Motors today. We go further than anyone thought we could, so that you can go further too.
All right, we've been teasing it all hour, but we've got to talk about it right now. The Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin situation going on in Miami. I've heard all kinds of different takes and spins on this. I've heard players, I've heard people who say that the players on the team really like Richie Incognito. They think Martin needs to grow up and that he's just he's not quite man enough to play this game. I've heard all kinds of different stuff, but at the end of the day, we're going to show you the voicemail transcript of something that Richie Incognito was supposed to have said to Jonathan Martin. And, Jason, I've heard that I almost said university, that the franchise had sort of gone to Richie Incognito and said, hey, toughen up, Jonathan Martin. Under no circumstances is it okay to say the stuff that Richie Incognito said to Jonathan Martin. I understand that he's a grown man and he should have been able to go to the coach or go to the owner or somebody somewhere in the chain of command and talk it out. But at the end of the day, this should not fall as blame on Jonathan Martin in my mind.
No, man, and it's going to happen wherever you go. I mean, you've always heard of hazing or whatever you want to call it there, throughout the NFL forever, I mean, I can understand, taking somebody out to, making them, pay everybody's supper or something, but it just seems like he went over the edge a little bit. And like you're saying, some of the racial stuff that he was saying to him, and it was just, it's probably not called for, but, some people took on both sides. So I can see, I don't know, it's kind of a tough situation because you really don't know. You're not in the feet of Martin, really in the head of him, and, and listen to everything that he's going through. But in Incognito, it's just kind of a fun stuff to do to rookies. So it's kind of it's a hard situation to really look at. You kind of got to look at it from both angles, I guess. It's just difficult I just can't believe that everything that's happened, from him quitting and all that stuff. It's just a crazy situation.
Man, I sort of have a compassion for Martin that I hadn't heard a lot of people have because, and I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong on this, but man, it's got to be a tough situation when he apparently has some issues as far as I don't want to call him soft, but like he doesn't like to be messed with, and the guys will mess with him. I don't care about getting up and leaving when he comes to sit down. You can laugh that off. But at the end of the day, some of the stuff, and we're showing it right now, some of the stuff that Incognito said, calling him words that he shouldn't be calling him, and basically, I'll kill you, stuff like that, that's ridiculous. There's no point in that whatsoever. How is that toughening anybody up? Now, if you're going to toughen a guy up, why don't you, punish him in practice? Do something, hazing to me is stupid. I understand paying your dues, and if you have to bring the donuts, I remember Delonte West having to bring donuts to the Cleveland Cavaliers back in the day. It was sort of a shaming thing. Or if the first day of practice they saran wrap you to the goalpost and leave you out there in your underwear or something like that, that's different than calling somebody the N-word and telling them you're going to slap him across the face and find their real mom and slap her and I'm going to kill you. And all that's ridiculous. I've heard some of the stuff that Richie Incognito is supposed to have been involved in his former places of college football, NFL, and there are a lot of people who weren't sad to see him go. I know he's a Pro Bowl player, he's a great talent, but that doesn't excuse acting like an idiot, in my opinion. Just the stuff that he was doing crossed the line, Jason. Although I'm with you, hazing is one thing, bullying is a completely different thing. I'm not about it at all.
No, I'm with you on that. He just went too far on certain things. Like you're saying, though, I mean, people, they do stuff to rookies all the time. I mean, there was a picture of Matt Harris. When he played for the Broncos, he was walking off the field and he was carrying like 6 or 7 helmets and 5 or 6 shoulder pads and all this stuff. So, it's going to happen, but I just think he crossed the line on certain situations.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between paying your dues and being a racist. And it looks here, the big lead says that the Dolphins considered Richie Incognito a, quote, honorary black man. Look, I'm going to give you a little insight to when I was in high school, played basketball at Clarksville, lots of black guys on the team. And it was a funny thing to them sometimes. So using some of those terms, it's not funny to me anymore. It used to be something that I could laugh about a little bit. You just don't say that stuff to people. And especially not in threatening tones. It's just you don't do it. So whether or not those players know that they need to win to continue to get paid and to put the product out there on the field that can be successful. They know that Richie Incognito can help them on the field. So they're not looking at this the right way, in my opinion. They're not looking at this as far as, Jonathan Martin is getting abused. He's being abused. If this were a child having this happen to him, it would be there would be an uproar from everyone. But since he's a grown man, it's okay to just basically call him every name in the book, tell him what for, and then he's just supposed to deal with it. We talk about helping people with mental issues, and there are people, with serious mental issues. And what if he's one of those guys that I don't even want to say what could possibly happen and the things that this could possibly lead to, but I have empathy for Jonathan Martin. I have absolutely no use for Richie Incognito. Listen to what Tom Jackson from ESPN said. Go look that up. He called him a racist and a bigot and all these different things, and he was very serious. So I want to see how this situation develops before we talk any more about it. Let's switch gears real quickly, Jason. We've got just a couple minutes for Hog Talk. Hogs basketball got an 81-54 win last night over Northeastern State. Got up and down performances, though, from the early on from guys like Bobby Portis, who didn't really have a good offensive night last night, Jason.
No, but if you look at Bobby Portis, he did go 1 of 8. The first game, in the exhibition game, he had a double-double, so it shows the potential that he's at. But talking about last night's game, in the Northeastern State game, he was 1 of 8, but if you look at the rest of the stats, you don't look at the field goals, but look at the rest of the stats. He had 6 rebounds, he had 6 assists, he had 2 blocks. He's going to be what, we're going to expect so much out of him, and I don't think he's going to disappoint. Yeah. But you know what? I was looking at the box score last night, and the thing that worries me is we shot 6 of 25 from the three-point line. We still don't have that shooter, and I think that's what's going to hurt us this year is we don't have I know Antoine Bell is probably our best shooter, and Ardrakus Wade's probably up there too, but you take them two away, you got Hadar, who's all right for, a former walk-on, but we don't have a big-time scoring guard, and I think that's really going to hurt us. But looks like Cody Clark is going to be solid for us all year. He had 16 and 7 last night in the first exhibition game. I think he had like 14 and 6 or something like that. So I think he's really going to help us out a lot. And then of course Landis Harris. He had 10 and 8 and 4 blocks last night. So I think Clark, Portis, and Harris, I think we're all going to be the glue that keeps us together, and that I think we'll just be riding them through the whole season.
15 points from Antoine Bell as well. So 4 blocks you mentioned from Landis Harris. Moses Kingsley, an offensive project, but I think 2 blocks, 2 steals that he provided. He's going to provide some muscle on the inside for the Hog basketball team. I'm a little questionable to me who's going to put the ball in the basket. They had some troubles last night shooting the basketball, 43% for the game, 24% from 3, and 59% from the free throw line. That's not good. You want to be 70s, maybe even 80% as a team, and when you've got a team that with the new rules isn't going to be able to guard quite like they had in the past, put your hands on guys and turn them and get guys in passing lanes and cause turnovers. They're still going to cause turnovers, don't get me wrong, but what did they turn? They turned it over 12 times. They caused 22. Of course, they're playing a Northeastern State team's not any good, so that's part of what happened. But you're you're going to have to rely on some folks to hit some shots. So I wonder who that's going to be. I like Antoine Bell, the green light, and the mentality that he has to just let it fly. Kiko is another guy, though, but Kiko's going to have trouble getting a shot off. So I wonder who's going to put the ball in the basket when it comes down to it for the Hogs basketball team. But I'm encouraged by what I've seen from the depth and some of the young guys like Bobby Portis. The Hogs taking on SIU Edwardsville on, I guess it's Friday, there at Bud Walton Arena, 7 o'clock tip in that one. Jason, we've run out of time, but we've got Hog football on Friday. We'll talk about the Ole Miss game. I think you're probably with me where we're not expecting a whole lot of good to come out of this game for the Hogs.
No, not really. They're favored by 17, I think, is the line on the game. So, they're pretty accurate on, if they put a line out there, it's pretty close to what it's going to be. And I really can't see maybe the Mississippi State game other than that. I just don't have too much faith in Arkansas winning another game this year.
I'm with you. I hate it. But I said it after the Rutgers game. I don't know if they're going to win another game the entire season. That sucks, but that's kind of where we are. All right, we've run out of time for today, so we appreciate you joining us on a Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday at 11 with plenty more Sports Blitz. I think Jason's going to call. Are you going to be able to call in, Jason, on Friday?
I should be able to, yes, sir.
Sweet action. All right, well, that's Jason Kilburn. And for Maddie Lassiter, I'm Mark Freeman. So long. Thank you to Coach Doug Carlskamp for calling in, talking a little Arkansas Tech basketball. We'll hit the Arkansas-Ole Miss football game, and we'll do some more previewing for the weekend. That will be plenty of sports stuff on the docket for Friday. So join us at 11 o'clock Friday with more Sports Blitz.